can start.
Hello, everybody. Good evening to you. And we are coming to you from Panoramic Perpsectives. My name is Carl L. Johnson. And of course, this is my lovely co-host, Elise Gimarco Carlson. And we always have very special guests, and we don't treat one better than the other. But tonight, this night, we have quite an amazing man. I guess we should start off talking about what we've been up to, which isn't a heck of a lot because we've had a holiday crunch.
Yeah, not in the paranormal realm anyway.
Yeah, I mean, no, we've been very busy. It's just,
Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yes, I did have an excellent Christmas. I wish we could do it all over again, except we upheld the family tradition of having the Christmas quarrel, and we can't have Thanksgiving or Christmas without that. But I don't see them for New Year's. Yeah, it was a pretty it was pretty nasty.
Wow.
But that was only for 1 hour out of it. Otherwise, splendid day.
Oh, see, my family all get along really well. I
Really?
see them all mostly like once a week. They all live pretty close. But
How do you manage?
well, this year we have to postpone Christmas. It will take place on January 7th.
Yes.
Because of COVID, fevers, various ailments. And I said, nobody's coming over my house. They're all sick. So we just all stayed apart from each other. Yeah. Sandy Andrews is in Rhode Island. So are we. We're in Johnston. Yes. Hello, Facebook user.
Oh, they're coming in. Oh, good to see you all. Yes, you can have a Russian Orthodox Christmas and have yours on the 7th or something like that.
Well, that's just the next day everybody's at home. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, but no, we did have a good time for Christmas. I'm not exaggerating about the Christmas quarrel. That does really happen.
Well, we're lucky that's all we had. A little bit of fevers and this.
It didn't involve me. I was just a spectator. My sister and I,
Florida. Somebody's
well,
it's gonna be nice and warm up here this week.
Yes, we're gonna have a splendid week after being in the deep freeze where it's like was in the teens and low teens and all that. Now we're back up again. Well, it's 12 degrees a lot of times, and 10 degrees for 2 days in a row in the morning, but now we're functioning again, and 2023 is upon us, and we're going to have a very active year.
Yes.
And we're not even sure what it's going to bring to us. We do have a game plan outlined for the year, but
we still have one more thing to do for 2022, and that is our special guest that we have tonight. I guess he doesn't do a lot of online shows. I haven't seen him on a lot of things.
He's rather not reclusive, but exclusive.
Exclusive,
he saved himself for us.
He is an Instagram star, but I don't see him doing too many interviews.
No, but he has quite a list of credentials. I mean, when he does come out and when he does get involved with the paranormal, he writes something or does something grand, and he is also known for his association with Ed and Lorraine Warren, which not too many of us can say. I trained with Ed and Lorraine Warren in the 1970s, and he did in the 1990s. So we will bring on, I don't think he has a top hat tonight, but he has a headset. Yeah. Jimmy Petonito is with us, and let's make him appear. There he is. Oh, hi!
Yes, you like the hat.
I should wear mine.
It doesn't really fit over the headphones, but for now.
We get the look.
Well, I've got one I was thinking of giving you. It's leather. It's a coachman's hat, and it's was well over $100. So maybe, if we cavort more, maybe you'll inherit that.
Holy mackerels.
Well, I mean, you'll be seen more in it. I don't wear it very often. Okay, I'll turn that off.
Yes, you should turn that off. So how have you been, Jimmy? I haven't seen you since November.
Yes.
I've been just swell.
That's good.
And I've been telling you that you guys have been trying to get me on for months.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said Thursday's great because I have Fridays off from work because I get up at 2:20 a.m.
Oh dear, what do you make, donuts?
Yeah. How do you know? So anyways, they asked me this week to work Friday to do them a favor.
Oh no.
So I said yes, of course.
We won't keep you too late.
No, that's okay. After the show, or are you going to be able to sleep for a couple of hours? I mean, wow. I heard him say that. I'm sure I heard right.
There you go.
Decaf.
Yeah. Decaf.
Mm-hmm. So you might snooze for a little bit. Yeah, anyway.
My goodness.
Yeah. So you are a paranormal investigator. I don't know if there's such thing as a typical paranormal investigator, but you are unquestionably atypical. If there is.
I hate the titles,
Yes.
He is a person who likes to investigate paranormal phenomena.
What are you? We all need labels.
I was a little nerd that liked ghosts and stuff, and grew into this. That's all.
Into a big nerd that likes ghosts and stuff.
Exactly.
But you bring up a good point. Just for the Nomen factor, we have to tell people you're something, and you are
exactly.
something. But it's impossible to avoid the labels, and I run into that a lot. Like, you're a demonologist. Well, you're a Christian. Oh, yes. I just don't. I don't believe that God made the world for us. So I'm like, well, you can't be a demonologist. Okay, I'm not. This week I'm not. Maybe next week I will be again. So you kind of have to call people something, but you are just you, and you approach things your own way. Let's get this out of the way as far as talking about your association with the Warrens. It's not my favorite topic to, I don't shun it, but I don't want to go on, grandiose Warrens. Yep. He's been struck down. That's what happened. Yeah. So you did train with Ed, or you worked with them, associated with them, investigated with them, were even involved in some exorcisms. So there's just an impressive array. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about that? The Warrens, like your time with them? I mean, you could go on, but
I'll go on.
Okay.
When I was a wee child, I was from Hall. That famous picture of the woman descending the staircase.
Yes.
So
I did.
When I saw that picture as a kid, I made a face like this.
Oh no, yeah. Mr. Bill!
He'll be mean to me.
So I said, I want to get a picture like that. So back then there was no Google. I only had a bicycle. I couldn't get to these haunted locations to get my own ghost picture. So, the Warrens came to my college one year, and
can I pop on real quick?
Yep. Yes, please do, Ken. I see what happened here. We've got two Jimmys somehow.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
if you have another device, you need to shut it down, or
on his end.
Yeah, you've got two devices open, Jim, and the screen.
There's no way to remove one, huh?
Yep. He's got to
leave studio or
if he needs to restart, we can do that too, if it's worth it.
He needs Okay, Jim needs Jim, if you can hear me, you need to go off and come back on.
Yeah, I'll send him a message.
Yeah, just to make sure
I haven't been writing to him, but
because we've lived this nightmare before.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can't do another whole.
See, he's still got a device open. So he's got something open. He tried either computer, laptop, or phone.
There's one left now.
So, yeah, that's not him. He's got to get rid of that.
That's the one he's got to lose.
Bear with us.
Okay,
now we're good.
Yes. I won't touch anything. I think we will be okay now. There just seems to be one Jimmy now. No doppelgangers, nothing.
I think that one Jimmy is going to jump back and forth a few times.
If there's only one of them.
That's what you say.
It should stay. So you were a kid. You're a little nerd that likes to make, oh no faces, and you wanted to go to some haunted locations, and you saw a brown lady on the stairs, and you thought this stuff was really cool.
And then I saw the Warrens at a lecture at my college, and they talked about the brown lady of Raynham Hall. They showed pictures. They said this is called a psychic photograph, and they said there's, you can get a picture like this anywhere. It doesn't have to be haunted necessarily. But so right after the lecture, I went to local cemeteries taking pictures, and I didn't really get anything. And then I found out where they also talked about the White Lady of Union Cemetery.
Yes.
And that said a lot of people are getting some crazy pictures over there. So I finally found where that place was, and I collected a whole book full of not orbs, not little specks, like really dramatic looking pictures. And I didn't get the really good, the perfect brown lady picture, but I had a whole book full of them, a whole photo album. So one day, there used to be like up to a dozen people there on a Saturday night taking pictures. And one night, a woman came up to me and says, "Hey, can I see those?" She goes, "Wow, these are really good." She goes, "Ed and Lorraine Warren would love to see these. I work with them." I said, "Oh, I saw them at the college last year."
Mhm.
So she goes, "We have meetings on Monday night." She goes, you want to come down and show them to them?" So I said, "Yeah." So my friend Rick, who was with me, the whole ride up, we thought back in the olden days, remember if you got something great, it was like worth $1 million, like National Enquirer would buy my pictures.
Yes, yes,
So
like Bad Boy,
in
huh?
in my head, I thought, my pictures are worth $1 million. So Rick says, "Jim, don't, they're going to want to take your pictures. Don't give them to them." I said, "No, no, no, they're mine." So we got there, and Lorraine was so sweet. She's like, "Hi, honey, let me see your pictures." "Wow, these are great, honey. Can we have them?" "Sure you can. Here you go." And I gave him all the pictures.
Oh no.
I made copies. It's okay. But it was nice because they used some of my pictures in their future presentations. So it started off with me watching them, and then I became part of their show. So then I started, we started meeting up every Monday, and sometimes it would be instructional, and sometimes they'd do an old case, so that you'd never heard of before. They go through the whole interview on an old cassette tape, and then Ed would stop the tape every so often and add memories to it.
Oh.
And then sometimes we do like a half-hour class, and then go to 3 or 4 locations that people call them up over the weekend. Their answering machine used to be full of all these people that said, "We need your help. Go check out our house." So even after class, sometimes we used to go to 3 or 4 houses
Wow.
and check them out together. And then after a while, it might have even been a year or so, though, we usually went out in groups. But then after a while, she sends you out on your own.
Wow.
To go investigate a house.
Really?
Yeah.
On your own?
Yeah, on my own. Well,
and I don't mean because of the spooks either. I mean because of the living. Going out to this house by yourself,
I was assaulted only a few times.
Assaulted.
Define. I was pelted with rocks and garbage.
Ooh. Oh. Was it the neighborhood? Or
yes.
Yes. Oh.
That's how that got started.
Or something of the same page. I'm sorry. Yeah, something of the same page on that, because I met Ed and Lorraine Warren at a college, and I must say, although I hadn't planned to at the time, I gave them their biggest case, and to date, and I gave them 20 minutes of their lecture, which they traveled in England and in Canada with that, and of course all over the United States. So I did contribute largely to them. But I didn't get any yield except for some notoriety, of course, but I never got my stuff back.
Whatever you say, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
That's true. I've always said that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't so much call them innovators, but they did set some bars, and, they're the reason for a lot of things, because I went to see them, and that's how this whole thing started, that franchise really many years later. But it's because I went to see the Warrens. I'd heard about them, and that was, oh my word, 1973.
The 70s.
They were known then, and they're at least as well known now.
Yeah. But it's funny how things changed since then till now. Because after we came home from a case or something, we go to a diner at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And people be whispering like this, like that one of those was at The Conjuring, how they're saying, "Look at the weirdos" or whatever. That's what they were doing. All those weirdos over there, and it was like us. It was like, it wasn't popular then,
right?
And then they said now they'd be asking for their autograph and pictures and.
Yeah. Wow. I had listened to an interview with Tony, I forgot what his last name was, that you were talking to Tony, and I heard you mention the cemeteries, going to the cemeteries since they were readily accessible, somebody on a bike that was just going down the street, and that's where you started taking your photos.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in cemeteries, I'm going to one tomorrow to clean it up, because it's going to be nice and warm out. But even today, I had to go to one. I'm on Find a Grave. I take pictures of Find a Grave. People put in a request, say they live somewhere else in the country. They're looking into their family history, and they want a stone from a different state. They ask, could you take a picture of this? And I went out and took some pictures. The stone wasn't there, but I got some clues for them as to that, showing that the people might have been moved. And I take tons of pictures of cemeteries when I go out. A lot of before and after pictures after I do repairs to some of these stones. We find them underground, we stand them up. I have never once had a photograph of anything except for the stones that I was photographing. Why is it that some people get these photos and for other people nothing shows up?
I think, I don't know, but I think one of the reasons is I talk to people at work because I'm weird. Truck drivers that come in, just coworkers. Have you ever seen a ghost or a UFO even? And it seems like some people have experiences all their lives, and while other people don't have any. So it might have something to do with some people just are open to that and some aren't.
Well, I had a strange thing happen the other day when it comes to EVP. I don't get a lot of EVP.
Oh, that's another thing.
That's another thing. I don't get a lot of them. The one I really did get that they made a whole TV episode of that we were on was just such a fluke that it was so clear and, so relevant. But I was talking to our last guest about it. I told him that I had been to the Conjuring house, a few times, a lot of times, just visiting or whatever. And one of the owners had a recorder that every time we did like little short burst EVP sessions, he would always get something. So I looked at his recorder. I said, what model is that? I went on eBay and I bought one. So we were talking. I said, and it never worked for me. I just, I hear myself blabbering on and I never hear anything else. So the other day I was cleaning off my desk and that recorder was sitting there and I was like, looked at it again. And so I picked it up and I said, boy, all my friends seem to get spirit voices on this recorder. Why can't I? I played it back. I got the word spirit. I was sitting
Hey,
hello. I don't know how that happened. So, I mean, just when I'm ready to give up and say, this just isn't working for me, whether it's the photographs or the EVP, that popped up. And now, I'm going to go out with, actually, I brought that recorder to that cemetery today while I was taking the photos. I asked if anybody knew what happened to the people I was looking for. So I'll listen to that later.
I got 2 EVP stories for you if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure. Always interested in EVP.
So I when I used to go to this Union Cemetery, that was the only place I knew. So I would go multiple times a week. I had no kids. I worked nights, so it was very convenient for me to just stop in and take a roll of film and just hang out. And I used to put the tape recorder in the cemetery every time, and let it run for an hour, and then on the way back I'd listen to it. And like I said, I did it dozens of times and never got one sound on driving back.
Well, you just have a
blank
spot there. We can't.
Now there's 2 of you again.
It's
doppelganger.
Not you, yeah.
Doppelganger.
Well, we'll go with it until it gets.
Go with it. So I'm listening on the way home, not expecting anything, and I hear it sounded like this: "Kill them all." And I'm like, "Kill them all." I said, "I can't even show that to anybody. It's so corny, I kill them all in a cemetery." So then I went back during the day to see, I want to see where, because I always put it in back of this certain stone when I walk in. It's turned to the left and put it in back of that one. And the name on the stone was Gillemon. So now I'm looking at it and it looks like it says Gillemon. And then I listened to the recording and the kill 'em all was, I think he was saying his name.
Gillemon.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then
we'll have a little bit of jumbling to deal with. The storm is past. It's okay now.
Should I go on?
Yes,
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
So then, the one that with the radio on it. That's the I don't know what you call it. The little the thing here is a radio, but just goes through the people's. Yeah. So I had one of those for years. It was gone for 10 years. I let somebody borrow it. I just got it back, and my daughter said, "How does this work?" So I have witnesses, and I recorded this. I showed her. I said, "This is how it works." I said, "You just ask." Like I was pointing to things on the countertop. I said, "What's this?" It says, matches. What's this? Keychain. It just says it. And then
Wow.
I said, who's this? It said Heidi. And like, she's like, how does that work? I said, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily a dead person. That, like, why just jump to it's a dead person? You know, it's funny. Like, every time something odd happens, it's like, why is it somebody dead? Like, there's a lot of different explanations. We might not even understand why we're getting answers, but I just always jump to it's a dead person saying it. In a whole nother dimension. It could be somebody in Idaho. I don't know.
We tend to think of them as being the dead people because that's an easier explanation.
Exactly.
When it turns out to be people who are still extant, living people, which happens sometimes.
I don't know. Like I said, it could be some homeless guy in Chicago hearing me and answering the question. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. That's just it. You have to be ready to say, don't know. Really don't know the sources.
Actually, I have a question about the Warrens.
I'm going to defer to you because I've already been talking enough.
No, just something that you mentioned. You know, when you first mentioned, you know, when they asked for the pictures, you just kind of handed them over. But they're old school. You probably had the negatives. I mean, there have been hundreds, maybe thousands of cases. What do these files look like? Are there like bulging file cabinets somewhere? I'm a records person.
Like we have here, you know.
Here or there?
Anywhere. I mean, like, where is all this stuff? You know?
These stuff.
I just moved into this new place about 5 months ago, and I have boxes of VHS tapes, boxes of I transferred a lot to DVD. I still have the old original cassette tapes.
Wow.
I had a whole file cabinet of. I was always worried. I am everybody that knows me. I over explain things to try to prove that, like, I never lie or embellish my stories. Mm-hmm. And I think people that know me for a long time know that I don't do that. Yeah. I'm always going to tell you the same story because that's what happened. And I kept these negatives from 30 years ago, and I saved them all in a file cabinet. They said one day if I have to go to court and prove that I was there that day to get this, because I see my pictures on other people's websites and stuff, and I got to the point where I'm like, you know, how do I even prove this is mine? Like, if you know, if people have your picture all over. So I used to save my negatives for some reason I thought I had to prove it one day. So anyways, I have boxes all over the place. They're not really neat in files like that so much though. If I had to do it all over again, if I went to one case, I would put it in a box. I put all the film from there, the tape, the notes, and everything in one box, and just put it away, and then start over again for the next case. Because right now I just have everything all over the place, and it's hard to organize all that stuff. Thank you.
I would imagine. I mean, I've got. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to click on something over here. It's somehow we've ended up with our name under you.
Yes, I've noticed that. But
interchange.
I did see my first publicity shot with Jimmy. Yeah.
This is very strange.
I see a lot of names saying hi, but it only says Facebook users, so I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hello, everybody.
They can log on to StreamYard and allow StreamYard to use their name and/or likeness so that they can be seen and be known, so we know who's watching.
Yeah. Obviously, we're just doing our best to cope with the technical difficulties. It's like, you know, you're shuffling a deck of cards, you know. But
Ken's
we'll get
back, but our name is still under Jimmy.
Yes.
My new house is haunted.
Ooh,
maybe why? Maybe why?
Is that because you're?
So what do you got going on?
Interested.
Well, I'm renting right now. It's the house is 100 years old. Not that it means anything, but a lot of history here. And after I didn't know anything about the house pretty much, and me and my daughter were moving stuff onto the kitchen table the first day we're here. It's very secluded here, and we're putting moving boxes onto the kitchen table, and we hear a little girl's voice say "hello," like that loud.
Wow.
And we started searching the house. You know, it was that loud. And I said, "What did you hear?" She goes, "A little girl saying hello." I said, "I heard a little girl saying hello." So then the landlord guy, he was giving me a little tour around, and he goes, "Full disclosure," he goes, "a full body apparition was seen." He doesn't know what I do.
Oh, really?
Full body apparition was seen in this room here. He goes, "It was a woman from the 40s, was dressed up in like 40s attire. She had a braid going around her whole her head with a little clip right here." And then they found out later that they found an actual picture of that woman. They know her name and everything.
Wow. That is remarkable.
Then I'm talking to the neighbor, and they said they know 8 people that died in the house already.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of well, everything's good. Everything's good though. Oh, then one day we were watching TV. We heard a ruckus. We heard a ruckus in the porch right over here, and everything fell from this tall shelf all over the floor. So I'm looking at it, and it has the woman's birth certificate, her marriage certificate, her communion card, all her important information was in this little folder. That was what fell. It made a lot of noise. It knocked over other stuff, but it was all over the floor. And we later find out that's the woman that was seen in that room.
Oh, really?
My word.
Yeah. So I think she wants to be recognized.
Oh, wow.
That's about
you can take her picture.
That's a true ghost. When you have something like that, you can name them, or you can, go back in the history.
I know her name. I say hi once in a while. She's cool.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
She might be right behind me right now. You don't know.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I see her go by.
Yeah.
Oh.
What you see all this jumbling around is Ken working on, rectifying this problem.
I think it's going by without Ken.
Yeah, it's superseded Ken, so it's flown over him. There's only so much we can do with that.
So if you have that many files, just carrying around with you, my goodness, between the whole organization there.
For a little while.
Oops.
Just for a little while.
Say that. The mic came back.
Did you say, oh, shoot?
Yeah, that was it.
Be careful what you're saying.
No, I mean, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
We just want to talk to
coming back again, at least now.
Yeah, how come this is all?
Yeah.
Should we just start?
Somebody has a set
Camera. That's all we own.
But we'll be here for you. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah,
who knows what's in the second half?
I don't know how I can do that if I'm one of the hosts. But I mean,
Oh, Jim, it's you and me, buddy.
All right.
we're back, but we are still everyone.
Yes.
That's fine. They know who we are.
They know who we are. Even Ken has our name.
Yeah.
And
we're ubiquitous.
Unknown. Yeah, I don't. Goodness, there's the demon that is plaguing us.
A Mothman.
That's the demon that's plaguing us. I don't even know where I would find if I have. I mean, I know I don't have another camera. I know I only have one camera. I can be looking at this. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah.
Okay, we can still chat while I'm kind of looking over this.
That's good if you want me to be front person for a while.
Talk,
We've got because you can see this better than can I, because we still have questions for Jimmy. We talk about spirit through ghosts. They're people that were once living. They seem to want to communicate with us, to be at least quasi-aware of us. They're around us. How about anything inhuman? Anything that's not of human origin, that might say a demon or even an angel, something that they suppose was never in human form. And the jury's still out on them. I think they all have a common denominator.
Are you playing that music?
I like it.
No, and I just checked. I only have one camera. I only have one camera, HEH1 360. So that's not. It says I only have one connected.
This is rather like trying to communicate with the spirit realm.
I think this is what it's like. I think that's what's happening.
Maybe that's what it's like to them. They're trying to focus on it. They're trying to get messages through to us, but can't quite stabilize. Not for long. Not long enough.
So, since you guys want to chat, why don't you chat about exorcisms?
Exorcisms?
That is something that is way out of my scope of expertise, knowledge, reality.
Yes, we can talk.
I didn't do that. Come on, that's our funny look at us picture.
Yeah, we're having a lot of look at us. Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh, look at that one.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, like a Bigfoot photo.
But we can still carry on a conversation while all this is going on visually.
Trying to hear good exorcism stories?
Yes, that's what I like to hear.
All right, so this all started when we were, I don't count home exorcisms as exorcisms I assisted with.
Right.
Some people do, whatever, don't matter. But
you could call them blessings or expulsions, whatever.
Only after a year being with the group, I was, believe it or not, back in the olden days, I was like almost a tech expert on the team because I had a Sony Handycam with night shot, and I had the cameras, and I had the recorders, and I had it was called a Gauss meter back then, which was K2 back in the day, and they were going to have an exorcism of a home in Bristol, Connecticut, on the upcoming Tuesday. So Lorraine said, "Hey, does anybody in the group available on Tuesday that has a recorder that they could document this?" So I immediately shot up my arm. I said, "I'd like to go," And she was, "Okay, but you have to be in a state of grace before you go." And I said, "What's a state of grace?" And she goes, "You have to go to confession." I'm like, "Oh no!" So I went to the confession, and I was, you're supposed to have anonymity. They have that little screen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, forgive me, Father. It's been like 5 years since my last confession." And he goes, "Well, why are you here now?" I said, "Well, I have an exorcism tomorrow." He's like, "What?" So he comes out and
you must have thought that was your confession.
Yeah, he pulls that little curtain. He pulls me out by my arm and sits me down in a chair and says, "Tell me all about this exorcism." Yeah, he was so interested, and it was funny because he seemed more interested in what's going on than So that was my story getting started there, and he let me off easy, like maybe like 5 Hail Marys or something. Let me off good. So that was the first exorcism I was ever involved with. So by I'm gonna shoot ahead like a few years, 5 years or so, the group was getting so large that there'd be a lot of cases where we'd be interviewing these people that they sent us to the house, and she's like, "You're the third group here this week." It's like they kept sending groups to the same house, interviewing and trying to gather evidence.
Yeah.
And then we'd never go back again, and I wouldn't know the whole history of the investigation, how it began, how it started, because all these people were involved in it. And I understand the reasoning is because they wanted to keep everybody involved and trying to gather evidence. The more people you send there, you might capture something.
Yeah.
So I get it, but still, a few of us are like, we just, and everything was bad. Everything, or they got the worst of the worst cases they were dealing with. So I said, I said, why can't we always like just get an Aunt Jenny ghost like once, like, it's Aunt Jenny that passed over and saying hi. And I wanted to follow the case from beginning to the end of it, So a few of us started our own little group on the side, wanting just Aunt Jenny ghost and just to follow through with a whole case by ourselves. So the first case we ever did was this woman that was hearing some scratching noises in her house in Massachusetts. I forget what else. Not a lot of major stuff. So we get to talking to her. We went up to interview her, and her mother pulled out these VHS tapes that the girl was 18 now. She lived with her boyfriend, renting a house. So they're hearing these scratching noises at night. They had they spent all their money on new wallpaper, and they put a whole white carpet on the entire bottom floor. So I'm saying they don't want to trash their own stuff. They spent all their money on this, fixing it up. So I said they woke up one morning and there was this whole pile like this, they said, of something on their white carpet. And they don't have any pets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like something a bear would leave in their living room.
Oh.
They didn't know what that was. So then the mother came to the interview. And she brought out these tapes. And she goes, I don't know if these have anything to do with what's going on, but I want to show you some stuff. And the tapes show that the girl that's 18 when she was 13, and she's laying in bed, and her arm is like in the air, getting twisted back and forth very violently, and she's screaming in pain, saying, "Cut my arm off! It hurts so bad." She's crying. The mother's trying to comfort her. There's other videos of her. It looks like somebody's holding her wrist and just throwing her wall to wall in the hallway.
Yeah.
Videos, she's crawling on all fours, salivating and spitting. Another video, her just laughing in the corner hysterically, like in a ball. And they weren't recording this for paranormal reasons. They were trying to show a doctor what's wrong with my daughter, and they said it could be anything from a cyst on her brain to mental illness. So I think I don't remember the number. It was like 19 or 20,000. I wish I knew the exact number. Like $20,000.
How'd you bring that in?
Did you hear that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
That was Carl. Oh, it's going through the sounds now.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
mackerel.
dear.
It's going through the gamut now. And you were just getting the crux of something very interesting.
See what happens?
I can take
Now
some
that
of
makes
these
it
out.
a point. Sometimes it's not always, the spirit. Sometimes, yeah.
That way I can't. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, I got rid of that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, well,
then,
So yeah, what happened to this
Well,
girl?
all-
I mean,
all this stuff happening.
You're trying to get rid of it
Say that to the end.
now.
So,
it's a good story.
so she's showing us all these tapes and stuff, and and then they also complain of scratching on the walls, which they'd hear at night while they're sleeping. And they, like I said, they just put new wallpaper through the whole hallway going up the stairs, and you could see scratch marks in the wallpaper. And then then it would be it would start on the bottom. The next time it would be higher up. So she goes, and then it was at the top of the stairs. So she was so scared. She said, "You know what? Before this gets to the top of the stairs, it comes in our bedroom. I called for help because I don't know what this is." So then, combined with what the mother showed us, like maybe it is related. I don't know. But also, with the stuff that happened, she was 13. It started and stopped. It stopped just as soon as it started. It did it for a year or so, and then just stopped. So he said maybe it's connected. I don't know. So he talked to the bishop and said, do you think at least help us bless the house, whatever? And he said, this showed some signs of oppression, and see if she'd be willing to do an exorcism, have an exorcism performed on her, just in case. So she said, I don't think I'm gonna have any kind of reaction to that, but sure. So she agreed to house exorcism and herself, and we went up there. Luckily, I was recording this, and she was they're doing the litany of the saints in the beginning, and as soon as they started doing it, she started like moving around in her chair, like getting antsy and stuff, and then she started screaming like, "Holy mackerels!" Like, like this again.
Brought him up again, huh? It's going to be disturbing for some of our viewers.
So then the we brought. He said bring restraints just in case, so we had to go to restraints.
Really?
She broke out of those. So now each of us have like I'm on her left side, holding her left side down, or somebody else on the right, somebody else in the back. We had to put a waist restraint on her. She was laughing half the time, screaming, and then maybe it was only like an hour long, and then it ended, and it was like one of the only. It doesn't really normally happen like this. She was like, I feel okay right now, and it continued that she was okay. We still exchange Christmas cards, and like I said, they don't end like this. Sometimes it goes on to multiple exorcisms, or just it never goes away. There's not guaranteed. And that was the case where a producer from ABC, we started our own little website, and a Halloween special they wanted to do, and they said, "Would you be willing to can we use this footage in the story for our show? And then everybody agreed to it. She said, I want other people to get help too. So that aired on ABC, I think in like 99 maybe.
Oh yeah.
And it was on ABC. It was big then because it wasn't 500 channels. So it was watched
by. Was it on series or was it a standalone?
It was an ABC Primetime Live.
Oh wow.
It was
that's a pretty big production then.
Yeah.
Singular.
So after that came out, literally hundreds of emails to our website from people all over the country saying something similar is happening to my daughter or my husband or whatever, and we can't find help here, or they don't believe us, or so. By now, there was like 7 people in our group. It was just on the side. Like I said, we wanted an Aunt Jenny ghost to turn into an exorcism team, and we all like got like the supposed 20 names each, and it was our job to contact every single person and find out who seemed legit or who was fooling around with us, or if we could find. Then we had a whole packet of exorcists in the country to see if we can get them connected to somebody in their area that was willing to do it, or could you come to Connecticut? So after a while, the bishop said, let's just say Wednesday's exorcism day, and he trusted us after a while and said, you guys know you don't have to show all the evidence and show everything to me. It's like you line them up and I'll do the exorcisms.
Wow.
So then we had people from all over, from Texas, Alabama, almost every Wednesday for a year and a half.
Wow.
There'd be people coming in. It got crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. That's a lot of exorcisms.
Yeah.
Are you done with these exorcisms, or is there potential for you to go out again, or do you even know at this stage?
If we don't have another Bishop McKenna right now.
Right.
That's the unfortunate.
He was amenable to exorcisms, of course, very well known for that.
Yeah, and I said, you don't know how rare this stuff is, because he wanted us to record this to show people. Like I told him, what do I do with all this information, Bishop? And he says, tell your story, Jim. So I said, it's going to be it's not easy to find somebody that's willing to do these, let alone record them all.
Yeah.
So,
now there are many more people in the game, if you want to call it that. Whereas, those years ago, they were the only people in town. Well, across the country, when something like that goes on TV, that people were calling. Do you find that people are a lot more willing to believe right from the get-go, something happens and it doesn't happen to be in their favor, and they're like, oh, it's a demon, it's a possession, it's a, they've heard all the words on TV.
Yes.
It's now, they know all the terminology.
The worst thing that happened was the best thing that happened, and the worst thing that happened was technology, because the people you go investigate their house now, if you suggest something like, no, I watch Ghost Hunters, and they say, like, well, why are you calling anybody then? You already know everything,
Yes. We get a lot of calls like that because of Carl. We get calls. I'm possessed. My boyfriend's possessed. That attachment. I'm like, we're going to come and ask you some questions.
It's a big knot to untie. Yeah.
Right. And you don't want, you really sometimes have to come out and ask them, are you willing to let us just see what's going on? And would you accept any other explanation?
Without self-diagnosing.
I mean, we're not psychiatrists, but after a while you get a feeling for if these people seem to have some problem or something.
Well,
and
media and its big impact, just like the novel and then the movie The Exorcist introduced our current concept of what is a demon and how a demon can infiltrate and possess people. Just like that brought us the demon, the modern interpretation of the demon. So did the television shows define ghost hunting, investigate, like that. That's what I meant.
I have my own depiction.
That's Pazuzu.
Look, I could do The Exorcist right here at home.
Whoa!
I saw those eyes.
It looks very familiar, though.
That was a good one.
It reminds me of a werewolf hunt I was on.
Actually, I just watched a pretty decent show about evil. What the heck was the name? What did I send you the name of it? It's on Netflix. It's a Mexican production.
Titanic?
I'm sorry?
Titanic?
No, it's Mexican. It's about, 4 different women who are have, I don't know, I guess they all end up being possessed.
You said it was good production, good quality.
4 different outcomes for them. Like one does have an exorcism, one it seemed to go away, another one actually became a Satanist and lived with it.
That's a good idea.
Just join the other side, because the demon that possessed her said that it was protecting her. So her mother said, all right, let's just go with that. So now we're all protected. It was interesting though. I gotta say, it was on Netflix, and My Life with Evil or some kind of a title like that. Let's see. I'm gonna add him. Oh, they love it.
I'm gonna try and find the name of that too. In fact,
that's okay. Ken seems to be booted off the show.
Yeah, we've lost our Ken. He's our producer, but we lost
miss him.
him.
But we'll see him again soon. Now, who is that? Is that? I can barely see. What is that? Who is that? I should say.
Yeah, we haven't read any questions yet.
Wolfman. Okay. Oh, all right. I see. Whoops. We got big. I was gonna make Wolfman big. Oh, that's cool. I didn't get any toys for Christmas.
I'm sorry. I'll send you something.
Yay!
Toys, eh?
I got my little alien keychain. Everybody remarks on that.
What else I got?
What you got? Let's see. Let's make Jimmy big. Oh, that's cool. Anybody bothers me, they're in for it. Plasma gun. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
No, that's top secret technology. That's not what you sent, though.
No. So yeah, that was a pretty. And ooh, look at that.
Look at everything cleaned up.
So do you do anything with the? I mean, everybody's got their what they mostly concentrate on in this paranormal realm. I know mostly the demonic side of things. Do you still dabble in like other things like UFOs? Do you lay outside in the lawn and see if anybody answers?
Oh, I had 3 major UFO sightings growing up. Not a dot in the sky that moved around, and I think that's what we were talking about earlier, Carl. I said it's stuff connected.
Yes.
And so I feel bad because people research UFOs all their lives. I guess their passion.
I'm sorry, you got muted for a sec. I didn't do it. Wolfman did it.
Am I on?
Yeah, you.
You're only off for a few seconds.
Yeah, I had 3. Things starting when I was 8 years old till I saw the 3rd one, and I just found out last year that the Hudson Valley incident one with the black triangles with the red lights on it, my neighbor that lived next door to us all my life growing up just told my mother, she goes, hey, remember that UFO that went over? And my mother's like, no, I didn't know anything about it. She goes, I think it was 1982 around there somewhere. She goes, it came right over our houses and sat there. She goes, for like 8 minutes, just sat over a tree. Because we have a oak tree that's right in between our 2 houses. She was just sat up there for 8 minutes. Back then, nobody had cameras or
She didn't have a camera with.
It sat there for. She doesn't believe in this stuff. She's not into the UFOs or ghosts or anything. She goes, it sat right up there for 8 minutes. She goes, I could describe it perfectly. And she goes, it sat up there and then took off towards the mountains and flew off. But that would have been amazing to see that one too. Like I said, nobody would. But and cryptids are my new favorite.
Yeah.
Cryptids.
Because I said in our lifetime, are we going to find out they've been doing this for 100 years? Does anybody have any evidence of ghosts yet or anything? No. Do we have evidence of UFOs or aliens? Really? No.
Solid, no.
Cryptids are out there, and we have a chance to find a cryptid.
That's why we like cryptids, because there's enough evidence. There's photographic and physical evidence enough to keep your interest generating.
And they're out there. So we're gonna find one. We're gonna find some.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start looking for cryptids soon.
Well, the thylacine. Sometimes these things are like extinct animals. Supposedly, these extinct animals that we find are still around, or there's a lot of evidence. The thylacine. It sounds like Mike Tyson trying to say.
It's a big tiger, right?
Yeah, it is a Tasmanian tiger, and it's a marsupial, but it's convergent evolution. It looks like the canine, but it's not, and it has a pouch. And I'm thinking, people want to believe that's still out there in the Australian. And I saw some footage of what's supposed to be a thylacine, and it's like, oh, by gum, that is a thylacine jumping around in the bush.
Did you see that video maybe last spring that a hunter killed this big giant? It looks like a werewolf. Like it was like 9 feet long and 400 pounds or something, and its teeth were this big. And it was the first one that like they did a DNA test on it. But yeah. I never got a follow up from it. I don't know. It was like in Kentucky or something.
Yeah. And then you don't hear a lot about them afterwards, if anything.
No, they disappear.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, dog people like Dog Boy,
Dog Man, holy mackerels,
they're real. I was on a dog man hunt once. They're real. I don't know what they are or why they are, but they're real.
I want to go on a dog man hunt with you.
Story about it, you know.
Yeah, when the weather gets warmer, we should go out looking for something.
I want to go.
Let's go.
Wouldn't it be weird if Jimmy was the only one who didn't come back, and you know we have to explain it?
Stuff happens.
Well, I might be the one who just come back.
I would gladly go down if you could bring back a dog man for civilization, if need be.
Oh, I don't want to get into because you have to tell a story to tell a story. But I was on the trail of a dog man, and when we first went out there, we got some interesting things. And I had our colleague Brian J. Cano come, and we didn't find the dog man that night, but we did. I said, "What did you see?" I wanted to hear his account first. We were down in a swampy area by a river in Rhode Island, and near the Bridgewater Triangle, right on the cusp, and he said, I saw a group of shadow persons. That is exactly what I saw. Shadow persons in motion, like 4 or 5 of them, maybe more. And he saw the same thing. I just wanted to hear his take first, so I know we saw the same thing. Now, I did find something on my phone while I was looking for the title of that show that Elise was referring to.
Somebody did put My Encounter with Evil was the name of the show.
Oh, yeah, that's it. My Encounter with Evil. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I've got to watch that over the weekend. A quote by Carl Sagan: "If it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth." Your take on that? Because sometimes you just want to keep quiet and let things go. If people want to believe or, you know, want to follow their own delusions maybe, or their own suppositions, let's say. Maybe it's a little unkind to destroy illusions or what we think are illusions, and it smacks of hubris. But do you agree with that? You know, if it deserves to be destroyed by the truth, if it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth.
Well, that reminded me of a thing when I was younger. I used to try to prove to everybody, like, these are real, like this is real. And I used to like fight for, to prove that something was real. And now I just don't care what anybody thinks. Like, I do my thing, and if you could present some evidence and they enjoy it, great. I don't care what anybody else thinks right now.
Hopefully everybody's evidence will line up at some point. Things that you find, things that
I don't really care what people think anymore so much. It's nice to get old.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you something. When I was a Bigfoot hunter, that time, those 3 years, Bigfoot was real.
See, Monday Night Monsters.
Well, now we're segueing into them. We created an algorithm. When I was researching that dog boy, or dog, actually it was a dog woman, it was real. It was a female. It was real. And I'm not saying there was anybody, it wasn't delusion. It was physically real then. I don't know if it is now, but it was then. Okay. Maybe it went into non-reality through principles we can't understand.
Did it have babies? I mean,
well, what does that show?
It must have been a dog man if it did.
If the thing had breasts, that indicates that it's fully a mammal, that it suckles, that it has to eat, it has to, live physically. While in transition or something. Lycanthrope Kardashian. You destroyed me. I can't go on. Okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah, all we can do is, each have our own take on it, because we're all going to have our own perspective. We're going to have our
own. Yeah, see, you said something grand.
We're all going to have our own. Anyway, so might as well look at it from our own perspectives and compare and contrast with everybody else's and see what we come up with. My goodness, now it's starting on noises.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we probably should have pre-recorded this if that's our option.
We're going to use a different computer next time and see if it's us.
See if it does. Is it just
It has
us?
happened to us before, but it did not happen with our last guest. We had no
Remember
problem.
this. Remember this day.
Yeah. We got muted. See, it's even muting us.
It's saying, no, we're saying things that shouldn't be divulged.
We're on to something.
I have to watch the mic things to make sure we're not muted before either one of us. Wow, it just keeps, there we go. So, wow, it's been really good talking about some of the things I heard you talking about that, to that other man with. And I was like, oh, I have this question. I have that question.
What man was that?
His name was Tony. I forgot the name of the show. It's the Graveyard something. Into the Graveyard.
I haven't watched it yet. I intend to.
Oh. A show, but there was another hour on Patreon after that. But I was just listening on YouTube. I don't know why it's
I don't even know what the audience can hear when that happens. Probably
we got 4 minutes. Don't rush us. Go. Yeah.
Talking to Jimmy.
Popping up.
No, you look very blanco.
Holy mackerels. What's happening?
I don't know.
No, we're shuffling again with the deck.
Well, if Jimmy...
He's broadcast.
So it is getting to be, it's 8:56. We only have 4 minutes left. So maybe.
We did cover the topics we wanted to, though.
Jimmy got, there we go.
We're good.
Yeah, he got muted. I got to keep my eye on that some more. If I look like I'm possessed, it's because I'm staring at the mic.
I want to say hi to Secret Squirrel before we go, and to Sarah, Herbie, Nadine, Courtney, Dylan.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for doing that, because I'm having a hard time keeping an eye on the microphone things to make sure you're not muted and looking at the messages at the same time.
Well, I think we should have Jimmy Petonito on again to expound on some things we just got to touch on, also to apologize to him and have him talk more.
Oh, we could go on forever.
Just got blanked out somehow.
Well, we'll be announcing some of our projects for the new year. Won't be New Year for too long. Ooh, grim-looking couple there.
We were doing the classic.
Oh yeah.
Ghost hunter pose there.
Yeah, looks like the Avengers. Oh, there's he's dressed up again.
Yeah, he's got a hat.
I should wear my hat. Well, I want to see this man before long. We're not like we're in other sectors of the country. We're in the same basic region. Yeah, we should get together. We'll do a cryptid hunt.
I want to go on a cryptid hunt.
Yeah, what are we gonna go look for?
Dog man.
What do you think he is?
I just tell you, I'll get lampooned somewhat, but I know there was Dogman, and I know there was Bigfoot, or whatever we want to call it. But that's what it was, and it was real then. The footprints, the bent and twisted trees, the howling, the footfalls we heard, the scent, the birds and even insects stopping while the critter was around. It was real then. Maybe it's gone, like I said, maybe it's gone back into it never existed. Not just non-existence, but it never existed. But in those 3 years.
To Canada.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I can hear you faintly.
You got faint, yeah.
Come back. I should.
All right. Let's see.
Let's give it shout outs.
Think we better say goodbye while we still can.
Before all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. You just got really, really far away.
Scary.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, of course. Now it's gonna work.
There you go. That was better.
Yeah,
Something
well, we brought back a colleague like 2 weeks, 4 weeks later, a month later, Joe Rainoni, because we didn't have technical difficulties then. We just had more to say and more to show. But, maybe we could have you back on. It's been very interesting despite the glitches.
Oh, yeah.
You're telling me.
I mean, my vision isn't the same. I don't think my glasses are working anymore. I've been trying to follow it. Oh, so much to ask you, so much to tell you.
Yes, but our time together is drawing to a close, as you would say.
Draws to a close.
Sounds like something you would say.
I probably would. Well, we thank you. It doesn't matter if we go a couple of minutes over, but we're not going to make the visuals better in that time.
Yeah, so. Thank you to everybody who stuck with us. I mean, all you had to do is close your eyes and listen. And the show seemed pretty well.
They're saying hi, Carl. Hi, Jimmy. And of course, there are some hi, Elises.
Yes, we've got everybody.